So what we're going to go over adjusting your Girard G2000 awning. I'm going to go over a couple basic things, and then we're going to go a little more in depth. So holding in my hand, you can see on the camera, you should be provided this little flexible style Allen key. Any Allen key this size or the size, there's a red and a little yellow Allen key insert on the actual motor. The motor is on the right hand side typically. It can be on the left. Whatever side has this little bell housing for manually retracting the awning, that's your motor side. And you can see the wire for the motor actually up in here inside the awning. This Allen key or an Allen key of the same size can be used. If you look carefully at the motor, there is an arrow pointing away from the vehicle and an arrow pointing to the vehicle. And there's also with each arrow a little minus and a plus sign. That is to extend and retract the awnings. Those are the controls and settings for those. So if your awning is not shutting securely, what you do is find the in arrow, turn it slightly towards the plus symbol, and it will bring it in a little bit. If you want it to come in a little less, turn it towards the minus supports. Same thing goes for the putting the awning out. Now please be careful when adjusting these two limit switches. You only need to turn them a tiny bit to set an adjustment, and a tiny bit is like 1/8 of a turn. What you would do is you would turn it 1/8 of a turn, run it in a little bit, and see if it changed the setting. Same thing going out. Put it all the way out, turn that a little bit, try putting it out a little bit further. Don't do extreme increments when turning these adjustments. As I mentioned, this little bell housing, there is a special, it looks like a T kind of handle, and it's a awning rod, it's a manual awning rod to put the awning in. What you do is you put it in this hole and turn it, and if I turn it, you can sometimes turn it by hand. You can actually see the awning will come in, which I'm not strong enough right now to turn it. And the awning will come in. That is for emergencies only. Don't use that to put it in and out. Your awning is electric. Use it as an electric awning. That is for if you have like a power failure or something along those lines. It's pretty straightforward. Now what we're going to go over adjusting the actual pitch and height of your awning. Now how that works is, you can see this is called a knuckle right here. This is the bus side knuckle. You can see these are 3/4, all three of these, or 19 millimeter. They're both the exact same measurement. What you're going to do first, you're going to loosen these two here, and then this bottom one here that's horizontal is actually for raising the arm. So what you have to do is, I have another guy on a ladder across from me. He's going to lift up on the awning gently, and when he starts to lift up, you'll actually be able to see here that the awning arm is lifting a little bit. You can see he's taking the pressure off of this adjustment. Now before you go to adjust it, the easiest way to remember how many turns you turn it is take a little marker or pencil. Marker works the best. And mark on the face of the bolt and up on this little lip of the actual nut itself, and then just make a little small mark on the actual knuckle itself. That way you can count how many turns you actually turn this knuckle to raise the awning. There is no set actual measurement that when I turn this thing it'll go up so much. To make your awning match, which is the issue that we're having in your circumstance, you're going to have to play around with this a little bit. But whatever you turn on this one, you're going to turn the exact same the other way on the opposite side, because you want to keep the pitch of the awning. So if I turn this and tighten it, which you righty tighty lefty loosen, and it raises the awning 3 inches on this side, I need to do 3 inches off of the other side. Otherwise, what the issue you're going to have is your awning is going to be straight across, and it's not going to drain water as it's supposed to. So my buddy here, after I get my wrench set up, he's going to lift up a little bit for me. He lifted up, you can see it raised up a little bit. I'm going to loosen both of these on the side. It doesn't take much, just a couple little turns. It's not even a full turn, just loosen it until you feel the tension come off of it. So I can see now that I've done that, This washer should loosen up a little bit. And the washer's a little loose now. I'm going to put my wrench somewhere safe that it's not going to fall. It's going to be in my back pocket. I have a 3/4 or 19 wrench. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this, and he's lifting up still. And if you notice, I looked back at him, he raised it a little bit more. It wouldn't turn for a second. If it doesn't turn, it either means your person holding it has it too high or too low. It shouldn't take much effort to turn this nut. So you can see I'm barely pushing, it's not going. So I'm gonna have him lift it a little bit more, and you can see now it started to raise a little bit. So I'm just gonna raise this, he's gonna keep going a little bit more, and I'm gonna do one turn. So keep going a little bit more, and there we go, got a little easier because he lifted a little higher. My marks line back up. Now before he lets off of this, what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you then snug these back down. And like I said, it doesn't take much. Don't crank on them super hard. So that one's snug, and that one's snug. Now what we would then do is go to the other end, and if we wanted to raise the awning, we would crank the other one up the same amount of turns. Now, as I mentioned, this is our high side on this awning, so I'm actually going to loosen this up really quick and bring it back down. So what we're going to do, this is our high side, we're going to loosen these back up. I'm going to turn it back the opposite way that I just cranked it, so he needs to go up a little bit more, and you can see he slipped really quick. He has it at the perfect height right now. It's turning really easy, and my mark is now back on the mark. At this point, I can actually crank this tight. But before I do, we want to this is our high side, we want to reverse the awning pitch, which is what you guys need to do to your awning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to loosen it, and I'm going to bring this one down one turn. So now my marks match back up. Still, while he's holding it, I would then tighten these back up. And then what I would do is go to the other end and then turn it the opposite way to bring that side up. You're going to have to play around with this a little bit because, like I said, there's no set measurement. And when you tighten these bolts and you tighten this one back up, it actually raises the awning a little bit more than what you had him lifting at the current moment. So you'll notice you have it lower and you crank these tight, and then it raised up a little bit more, and they're not, not lining up again. You may need to loosen these up, back this off a little bit, tighten them up again until you get it at the proper measurement. All right, so what we're looking at right here, we're going to explain just a couple basic things, and you can see this is obviously not your coach. This is one of our other customers. My left-hand side, where the Girard label right now, is my low side. My right-hand side, where the cutout insert for your manual retract is on the right side, that is called the high side. That is a standard, and I think it's 15 degrees, and that is for water runoff. It needs to have a pitch. It should not be straight across from end to end. If it is, the water is going to build up on the awning. It's going to act more like a bowl rather than a surface for the water to run off of, and it's going to collect that water, and you can damage the awning. So when adjusting this, what I'm going to suggest, you need to take a tape measure from the low side to the ground and measure that measurement. You're going to do the same thing on the right side or the high side. Since you have two awnings, you're going to measure both of them. Keep a nice little, just draw it on a piece of paper so that you're aware of what they were preset at and what height they should be at. So if you're one awning, if the measurements are the opposite of the other one, or they're not even close, pick which measurement looks better and then stick with that measurement. Don't try to bring it higher than that. Don't try to change those measurements from the ground to the awning. Otherwise, your pitch could be incorrect. Also, if you raise it too high, when we did that process that I described earlier, the actual arms, the thing we did, you can actually raise the entire awning up. So if I did an equal 3 turns clockwise on each one of them, it's going to raise the entire thing up and still keep this tilted angle that it's supposed to, but it's going to be 3 inches higher. And technically the awning, the water could run back at the bus, which you just created another problem. So just take your time when you do this and keep good measurements. Your awnings, how they're designed, they may not look like both ends line up at the moment, like Kenny's holding up on this side right now. Both your awnings don't appear to line up because one awning is sitting like this and the other awning is sitting like that as well. So that's why these ends don't appear. What you're going to try to do is you're going to try to leave this awning where it's at and bring the other awning like this, so your drain points are on both ends. So all you're going to do is exactly like I showed in the video, is you're going to pick the awning. I think it's on your left hand side if you're looking at both the awnings. You're going to pick the left one. You want to bring the right side up, so what you'll do is, I would say adjust it up 3 turns, adjust the other side down 3 turns, stand back and then measure, and if the measurement's not the same, adjust another couple turns and another couple turns the other way. You want to do clockwise on the side you're raising, so that horizontal nut that I mentioned will be clockwise to raise and counterclockwise to lower. Just take your time, keep good measurements, and you should be okay.